But the greatest influence of ice relies on far more than brute force. And that's because ice has some unusual properties that have a profound effect on the Earth's climate. I'm on the west coast of Greenland, in what's known as Iceberg Alley. This is the biggest iceberg factory in the world. I've never been up this close to icebergs before. I mean, I know they're chunks of glacier that fall off the front of the ice sheet and they float here, but when you get this close, they're like majestic, beautiful ships floating silently by. Geologists use the word calving to describe the formation of bergs. Calving as in a cow giving birth to a calf. And this is known as an iceberg nursery. The most bizarre property about ice is something so obvious that we just don't give it a second thought. These shouldn't be floating at all. Most substances are denser when solid than when liquid, which means they sink. Ice is an exception. Because it expands when it freezes, it becomes less dense, and so it floats. It's also dazzlingly bright, which makes it highly reflective, and this combination has a dramatic effect on the Earth's climate. These two qualities, floating and reflecting, make ice uniquely powerful on Earth. Ice turns these polar regions into two giant reflectors. And they don't just reflect light, but heat. Land and sea are dark, so they absorb the sun's warmth. But ice reflects it straight back out to space. It's called the albedo effect. Filmed for a year from a satellite above the North Pole, you can see how the Arctic sea ice grows and shrinks with the seasons. This changes the amount of energy absorbed by the Earth, and this in turn can influence the climate right across the planet. The effects are even greater when ice spreads beyond the poles during an ice age. Then, increasingly large amounts of the sun's energy are reflected into space. Climate and ice are intimately linked. Ice doesn't just respond to climate changes, it can amplify and accelerate them. Ice can take a small change in temperature and make it much bigger. Big enough to affect everything on the planet, including us. Climatic upheaval generated by the ice even affected the path of our own evolution. Fossils found all over East Africa show how in the last 3 million years there appear to have been two great evolutionary leaps forward. The first was the appearance of an ape man with a brain 60% larger than anything that had gone before. Then, later, came the evolution of Homo erectus, who was the first of our ancestors to make sophisticated stone tools. What might have caused these rapid changes has always remained a bit of a mystery. It now appears that they tie in with the two greatest advances of the northern ice sheet. Each time the ice extended further south, more of the sun's energy was reflected from the planet. This destabilised the climate and led to extreme conditions in many regions of the world. In East Africa, home to our ancestors, the climate became chaotic and unpredictable. In this fast-changing world, only those who adapted best survived. Both big brains and new weapons gave our ancestors an edge. Eventually, out of the climatic turmoil, modern humans began to emerge.